A very new one though. I was just introduced to it through the remake of the second game. I've never played the retro ones. Even more than a Silent Hill fan, I'm a big fan of Midwich. This, Old Haddonfield, and Dead Dog are like my three favorite maps. And I think they're the three healthiest ones though. It's a shame, but I think that's part of the problem of taking licensed DLC. I know at the time, at least, Konami was really hard to get licenses from. Especially if they want to work with them again. But because we were able to get a blighted Pyramid Head, and we do have shell skins, maybe it can be updated. I think it's less touchy than it used to be. Yeah, with a dead dog, it's definitely laziness. I also think there's an aversion to changing some things. I know that they seem to have batches with the changes that they want to add to the game in new chapters, and they also tend to like tweak the same category of perks or killers or items at the same time. Something about workflow behavior. They might not want to look at Dead Dog because there could be things they want to change that aren't on theme, or things they don't want to feel like they have to change because they're used to doing things together. So if you're going to look at like the vegetation on Dead Dog, are you also going to look at the sparsity at the outside of the map? Are you going to look at the main building? Are you going to reconsider the breakable walls? Are you gonna tweak Shack, or are you gonna tweak the other Shacks to look more like Dead Dogs? I think behavior gets hung up on stuff like that. But who knows, they were able to open up the suicide room, where you used to be able to slug people in the room where you could only vault in, and killers never kicked the doors because it was worse than kicking the pool room downstairs. And they did update the map offering because nooses are too edgy in an M-rated game on a map that has gallows. Yeah. I wonder if there's some really weird reason why that would be difficult to implement. Maybe there's some highbrow excuse. That's something. I know that they've replaced the event hooks on Midwich during the first Chaos Shuffle event, and they broke like 3 different window vaults because they were a little bit chunkier. And I know that behavior is like really sketchy about things that make the game look broken, especially with new players. When they change a map, they feature it. It gets boosted in the map and it comes up more frequently. That's the same reason that hug techs are being fixed. They were fixed on Blight, they were kind of fixed on Chucky, they were fixed on Dracula, they were intended to be fixed on Wesker. They also want to change Vecna's like wall hugging with Fly. I think they're afraid to touch assets. Remember how much flack they got when you were able to walk outside of the map on all of the maps that got 2v8 variants the first time 2v8 came out? I think they might have gotten more flack about it than they did with the Cenobite NFT stuff. And it's not just like the development team either, the people that make the game, it's also corporate above them. And so things being broken might be like a really scary topic to approach. Especially with like the recent killers they've been coming out with that have a lot of moving parts. Hound Lady is super busted. She is broken on so many levels, especially the dog's pathing, any type of elevation. Really jank. Dracula had a lot of issues. Some of which are kind of being passed off. Like the second chomp in wolf form coming out fast if you crash into something on the first. Like they don't even like animation cancels like that. Vecna had an ungodly amount of issues. And there's a thing going on where people don't like that you can't crouch the spirit in elevation fight of the damned. Like, little stuff like that makes behavior super nervous. And you've got people conflating the queue times right now, and especially in 2v8, with the game just not working properly. Yeah, I agree. Speaking of, I really think that we need a Courage the Cowardly Dog chapter. I think that would be a money printing machine, and I think it would solve a lot of their problems. Especially in their style of Courage, I think that they could even embrace jank with that license. Give us cats to allow as the killer. Speaking of busted, why am I not able to load into their lobby? Kinda wild. Oh boy. Norwegian PC Swift, okay. That explains something. I mean, we've already got a Vecna chest, right? Returning a slab wouldn't be that bad. Oh yes, yes. My god. You could even like give us the quilt. Hell, the quilt could be a map. Drake was gonna sabo me. Oh boy. The core server DBD experience. sometimes you are the survivor that goes, not really gives up, but just doesn't want to play from early on in the match. I think I met you initially in a Wesker game, when I was doing my Wesker streak. I think I got you like 2 matches in a row. And you try to tell me like just, hook you. You normally decide like really early on. I think nobody notices the second person. I think MMO in this game is cut. Almost a non-factor. Yesterday had back-to-back games where one team had 40 hours between players, the next team had 44,000. Including 2 players over 16k. And they have me going from empty loadouts, including a rank 1, tier 1 no mither, to 4 Wiglifs. Well, not 44,000 on one person, but yeah, that's like 4 no lives. Granted, I mean, I'm the same way. I shouldn't be playing with a lot of these people to begin with. But matchmaking's gonna do what matchmaking wants to do. It was a good game, too. It almost felt like old fuckle up. Well, initially, when I played, I was a Billy main. Because that's what existed. And then Nurse came out, and I was a Nurse one till 2019. And then I branched out. Now I play a lot of things. What do I want to run? In between transitioning from Nurse to everyone else, I played a lot of Doctor and a lot of Hag. And those were kind of my gateways into learning like the vanilla M1 stuff. Which at the time I kind of thought of Hag as... I almost look at Hag the way that people look at Vecna now, where she was an M1 killer with tools to help her M1. had a hair game recently versus S-Key Enjoyers, and it really took me back. First trap of the day, and they countered the cam swing. It's always cool when you play like something really obscure and people just ready for it. Especially like in just like random public matchmaking, it's such a good feeling. That's why I became a largely killer main to begin with, especially early on. There was always room for that RTS game style crisis management, and for the most part you don't get that as Survivor. I used to stream on Twitch. I got permit on that platform. I was in the hospital in January of 2022 with a broken leg, and by the time I got out of the hospital and I came back and I tried to sign on to Twitch, I was permitted. I had a lot of like really big suspicious donations come in, and they said I was money laundering. And I got closed for money laundering and fraud, and the customer support hung up on me, so then I made this. I think that was 2022. Like 2 years ago. Well, 2 and most of a year. It was a tiny, tiny channel. I think it was like 500 follows, and I don't think I've ever had more than 20 subs. And then I suddenly get like a lot of big donations back to back, which I haven't seen a penny of, by the way. In the middle of being offline for a week and a half, too. So I shrugged and I moved over to YouTube. Which is honestly much better. YouTube doesn't take the VODs down, and I think it's much smoother. So if I ever want to show somebody a game and talk about something, it's still there. Which realistically is the only reason I put these up. I think Twitch only kept my VODs for, what was it, 2 weeks? I also didn't like the notification systems on Twitch, and it was like really sketchy with my browser. In a lot of ways, like it caused upset on my PC. Actually interacting with the platform. I don't know a lot about that stuff. But I'll say I'm much more comfortable here, and most of the time I even forget that I'm live. Speaking of giving up, I've been playing a lot of the 2v8 mode, and I see killers giving up more frequently than survivors now. Which I guess makes sense in that mode. Survivors Very tuned. Huh. 360 ping. Kinda wild. I don't normally get pink spikes like that. That was kinda crazy. I wonder what it looked like for them. I think it's really silly that unknown mode is an option. I also think it's really silly that we can't see our MMR. I think that would solve a lot of problems, and it would solve a lot of perceived problems. Overnight. Well, I'll skip here and try to fix my lag. Maybe I'll be back on in a sec. Otherwise...